In this video, I'm going to take you through why I like dividend investing so much and why it really is truly passive income. What I will do, I'll take you through some of the definitions that you need to know, what to look out for in a stock when you're actually doing a selection of what you're going to invest in, and then we'll go and have a quick look at a few examples. So let's get started. A good place to start is probably what is a dividend. So a dividend is a distribution of profits by a company to its shareholders. So what does that really mean? Basically, if a company is starting to make a profit or it's got some surplus money once it's reinvested back into the company, it can pay out dividends to its shareholders. So if you own a stock, you get a percentage of that money back to you, which is why it is passive income. You don't need to do anything for it, it just comes back. So what else is really important when you're looking at dividends? I suppose there are a number of different dates that are really important. The declaration date, so that's the day that the board of directors go, we're going to give some money out in dividends. So on that day, they basically create a liability in the company's records that they are going to pay money out to the shareholders. I suppose the next one that's really important is the ex-dividend date. So this is basically the day that you need to have owned shares within the company. So in reality, the day before the ex-dividend date is the day that you want to own something so that you get a share of the profits, or so that you qualify to actually get money when the dividend is paid. And typically in the US and European countries, this is one trading day before the record date. So what is the record date? The record date is shareholders are registered on the company's record, and basically that means they will be paid a dividend. Probably the one that I like to know is, when am I actually going to get paid? And that is the payment date. And that is normally when on your brokerage account you will see that cash come into your account. Frequency of dividends is really quite difficult, so you end up with a regular dividend and special dividends. And basically within the UK, from what I normally see in any of my stocks and shares, is that I will either get paid quarterly or biannually. You end up having the declaration date, the ex-dividend date, and the payment date. So this is quite a good website that I would normally use to go on and have a look and see when the different dividend dates are. So dividenddata.co.uk, quite good for the UK stocks. If you're going to look at US stocks, macro trends is quite good as well. But on this one, say for example, let's go for Taylor Wimpey. We are looking at its last declaration date was 3rd of August. Coming up in a couple of days' time on the 13th of October, and then it takes about 5 weeks to actually pay out. That's not something that is uncommon. Another good website to go and have a look at is Hargreaves Lansdown, and basically it is hl.co.uk, and go into the shares, the opportunity to go and have a look at different stocks that we're looking at. So what we want to go and have a look at, so I've just come into Lloyd's, ticker symbol LLOY, and basically it comes in, it gives you loads of information in here, but where you want to go and have a look is go and have a look at the dividends. And what this is going to show you is sort of a little bit of history over the past 5 years. What it will also show you is there is a final and an interim payment being made by Lloyd's. So what does that tell us? That tells us that it is a biannual dividend paying company. There's lots of other things on here. There are things like dividend cover, dividend yield. What is dividend cover. So dividend cover is the number of times a company's dividend is covered by its profits. So what we want to be looking at is probably having a relatively high dividend cover on this, and I like to be looking in somewhere around 1.5 to 2. Dividend yield is percentage yield calculated on company's total dividend and the closing share price as at the end of that financial year end. What you will also see here is if the share price comes down drastically, you will get a higher yield, and sometimes a higher yield is not the best thing. I tend to like to be looking in around a 3 to 5% dividend yield on companies that I tend to invest in. I do have some that are much higher, but we're in a very volatile situation at the moment, and quite a lot of companies have gone down in price. It is always good to have different websites to go and have a look at. So this time I've pulled up Yahoo Finance. It will come up, and I've dropped into this one. I've dropped in Lloyd's just to see what that is looking like, and actually where we are looking for our dividend yield. And remember, our dividend yield is the dividend yield equals the annual dividend per share divided by the price per share. So where do we get that information from? So the price per share can be found here, just below the name and the ticker symbol. And then we're looking for our annual dividend per share, which is here. And that then gives us our dividend yield, which is 5.01% while I'm doing this. It also shows you where the ex-dividend date is as well, and under some statistics we get to see a little bit more on your dividend dates, ex-dividend dates. What you also want to be looking at is there dividend growth across payments being made by the companies, because that shows you that they have consistently done so. And what's also good is looking to see how many years they have also been paying their dividends. Dividend history is really important as well, and you remember we were on dividend data, dividend history. Click on there, and what it will do is show you some of the companies. Let's have a quick look at Croda. We can see that yes, continuous and growing, and it has had consecutive growth for 22 plus years. Tells you what that growth rate looks like over the two time periods. But what we can do is go and have a look back over the past 22 years, and you can see that that dividend has grown. Really useful tool to go and have a look at. Quick question for you: are you investing in any dividend stocks, and what is your favourite? I'd love it if you could drop down a comment below. Also, if you're getting value from this video, if you could smash the like button and think about subscribing. Really does help. So, is a company with a really high dividend yield really good? Possibly not. So why would their dividend yield be so high? The yield might be so high because their stock price has come down, because remember, that's the bottom line. So if you end up with, say, dividend yields in the 8, 10, 12%, there may be issues with that company. So as with everything, you have to ensure that you do your due diligence. So what else do you want to be looking at? You actually want to be looking at your company that you're going to invest in have a competitive advantage. So if we think of some of those larger companies out there, so your Coca-Colas, your Apples, companies like that, I know they are US stocks, but they are stocks that really do have a competitive advantage, and as we say, that they have a moat, so something around them that protects them from other companies coming in to challenge. So if you look at Apple, it is, what's its moat? It is the tech specialist. So it comes out with great phones that we all know about and love, and it has a whole ecosystem. So that is its competitive advantage. The next really important thing to look at is the bottom line. So how healthy is the company? So if we think about it, the top line is basically the total revenues that the company has, and then to get the bottom line, you subtract all the expenses, and that gives you the net income for the company. And what you want to see is that that is steadily growing. So where can we actually find that? So legal and general, insurance company within the UK. What we need to look at is have a quick look to see whether the bottom line is increasing or not. And basically over the last 5 years we have seen a steady increase. Obviously 2020 being a particularly bad year with COVID hitting, there was a dip. But what we do see is the TTM, the trailing 12-month figure, is showing an increase. The final thing I tend to look at is the management structure and see who is actually leading the team and see whether they are driving them forward in the right direction. So how can you do this? You can go do a quick Google of the company, have a look and see what is going on there, have a look at their LinkedIn profiles, look and see what they're up to on Twitter, and have a look at the annual report, see what they are saying about what they're planning to do with the company. Simply Wall Street is a great website to go and have a look at. It gives you lots of detail. It is a paid service, so it allows you to go in, have a look at the dividend, and also lets you go in and have a quick look at who the CEO is, shows you the other members of the leadership team, how long they've been in post, and what kinds of ownerships they actually own within the business. So what have we actually talked about? We've talked about quite a bit in this short video. So we've looked at sort of why I like the whole idea of investing in dividend stocks, that passive income that just keeps coming in. And it is brilliant when you see some money landing into your bank account that you've done nothing apart from doing a bit of research, pressing buy and holding it for the long run. So I think there are a couple of videos that would be really useful to you. So if you want to have a look at some of the platforms, the brokerage platforms that I've used and recommend, have a look there, or you can have a look at how to begin investing in the stock market in the UK in 2022. There are links to those videos. Thanks very much for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.